After years of renting, I finally bought my first home. On move-in day, my neighbor walked over, looked around disgustedly, and said, "Hope you don't plan on sticking around. This neighborhood is for families." I laughed awkwardly. 2 weeks later, I got a notice from the city that I was being reported for illegal occupancy. When I tracked it back, it was him. When I asked why he was trying to drive me out, he smiled coldly and said, "You don't belong here. And you never will." I'm 39. Been renting apartments since I was 21. I've lived with roommates who never paid their share, landlords who didn't fix anything, and neighbors who screamed at each other at 2 a.m. For 10 years I saved. No vacations. No new car. No takeout. Just saving. Finally, after scraping together a down payment and spending almost every weekend touring listings, I closed on a small house in Shorewood, Wisconsin. 2 bedrooms. A little yard. Safe neighborhood. Close to work. I was proud. Not just proud. Relieved. I finally had something no one could take from me. Or so I thought. Move-in day. I was unloading my old couch from the rental truck when he showed up. Late 50s. Khakis. Polo shirt tucked in. Polished loafers. I later found out his name, Gerald Clayton. "You moving in?" he asked, looking me up and down. "Yes, sir." He didn't smile. His lip curled. "Hope you don't plan on sticking around. This neighborhood's for families." I laughed a little. Thought he was joking. "I'm planning on it," I said. He didn't answer. Just walked back across the street and disappeared into his perfect white house with 2 little flags by the steps. I felt a knot in my stomach but told myself it was nothing. I was wrong. 12 days later, a bright orange paper was taped to my door. Notice of illegal occupancy. It said I had made unauthorized changes to the house. Violating zoning laws. $500 daily fines if I didn't fix it. I almost passed out. I hadn't touched anything. No changes. No violations. I called the city. After hours on hold, someone finally explained. "We got an anonymous complaint," she said. "We're required to investigate." An inspector came the next day. He was polite, checked everything, then shrugged. "There's nothing wrong here. Case closed." I asked who reported me. He couldn't officially say. But I knew. That evening, Tyson, my pit lab mix, and I walked by Gerald's place. He was in the driveway, sweeping leaves that didn't need sweeping. "Was it you?" I asked. "The complaint?" He didn't even blink. "You don't belong here. And you never will." Then he smiled. Turned his back. That night I couldn't sleep. My heart raced with anger and fear. But I made a decision. I wouldn't be another victim. The next month was hell. My mail went missing. Twice, I found my trash cans knocked over and garbage spread across the lawn. One morning, I noticed blue crystals in Tyson's outdoor water bowl. Took it to the vet. Antifreeze. My dog could have died. The police came. Took a report. But with no camera footage or witnesses, they couldn't prove anything. But I knew who did it. First, I gathered information. I searched online records, court filings, anything with his name. Found an old news article from 2008. Gerald had been investigated for fraud during the financial crisis. Moving client money into risky ventures without permission. Case dropped when he retired for health reasons. Interesting. Next, I checked property records. His backyard had a 2-story workshop. Huge. City records showed no permits. No taxes paid on that extra space. That was my first weapon. I filed an anonymous tip with the city. 3 weeks later, a code enforcement officer came. Gerald tried to talk his way out of it. I watched from my porch. He was given 60 days to get permits or demolish the structure. Now he had to deal with inspectors, fees, and paperwork. Just like he tried to do to me. But I wasn't done. Not even close. One evening, a neighbor named Paula came by. Mid-60s. Quiet. Always kept to herself. "I know what he did to you," she said. "He did it to the couple before you. And the single guy before them. He had reported them for every little thing until they sold and moved. He thinks he controls this street," she said. "But some of us are tired of it." She wasn't the only one. 2 more neighbors, Bill and Carla, told me similar stories. Gerald had harassed them over things like flower colors and fence height. "He only wants perfect families here," Carla said. "Ones he can boss around." I asked if they'd be willing to help if things escalated. All 3 said yes. I kept digging. Gerald wasn't just a neighbor. He ran the local HOA. Or what was left of it. Most of the board had resigned. He'd taken over their roles. President. Treasurer. Secretary. He collected dues from about a dozen houses. No one dared question where the money went. Until now. Through public records and some careful questions to old board members, I found out he'd used HOA funds to pay for lawn care at his house, repairs on his gutters, a vacation. Bill and Carla, we gathered sworn statements about his harassment and misuse of power. I also went to every city council meeting. Got to know the members. Quietly shared what was happening. One councilwoman had a cousin who'd also clashed with Gerald years ago. She agreed to help us file a formal complaint. We submitted records of his HOA fund abuse, proof of the unpermitted workshop, 3 statements of harassment, a vet report, and chemical analysis matching the antifreeze in Tyson's water to the same brand found in Gerald's garage. First, the city issued major fines for his illegal workshop. Then, the HOA fund misuse complaint triggered a civil suit. Then, a criminal investigation opened for embezzlement. And when the animal cruelty evidence was handed to police, they added those charges too. Every time he tried to push back, deny, blame others, threaten lawsuits, the evidence buried him deeper. His wife left. Filed for divorce. His adult kids stopped speaking to him. And the city banned him from serving on any HOA or neighborhood council. For a while, I thought things were wrapping up. Gerald was drowning in legal problems. His workshop was half demolished. His wife moved into an apartment across town. But when someone like Gerald falls, they don't fall quietly. About 2 weeks after the city hit him with the embezzlement charges, things turned ugly. Someone slashed my tires. All 4. Not just once, but twice in the same week. Then, late one night, I woke to Tyson barking like crazy. My front window was smashed. A rock lay in the middle of my living room floor. A note was taped to it. "Leave while you can." The police came. Again, no witnesses. No cameras had caught it. But I knew who it was connected to. I started noticing a younger man hanging around Gerald's property. Mid-20s. Tall. Angry face. At first, I thought he was just a contractor helping with the workshop demolition. But he wasn't. Paula spotted him one afternoon and told me. "That's his nephew. Craig. Moved in a few weeks ago after his parents kicked him out." I did some quick searching. Craig had a criminal record: property damage, assault, drunk driving. Now he was staying with Gerald. It didn't take much to guess who slashed my tires or threw the rock. I called my lawyer. Told him everything. We filed for a restraining order against Gerald and Craig. It took a few weeks to process, but it was granted. Neither of them could come within 200 feet of my property or contact me in any way. But a piece of paper doesn't stop people like them. One morning, Tyson wouldn't stop sniffing the bushes by my driveway. Hidden inside? A small container of rat poison. That was it. I bought 2 security cameras and installed them that afternoon. Front and backyards. Plus a doorbell cam. The first night with the cameras up, nothing happened. Second night, nothing. Third night, around 2:30 a.m., the doorbell cam caught Craig creeping up my driveway, hoodie over his head, a tire iron in his hand. He went straight for my car. Smashed the windshield before running off. I called the police. Handed over the footage. Craig was arrested 2 days later. Charged with vandalism and violating the restraining order. At his court hearing, I found out he tried to claim I was harassing them. Said I'd made their lives hell. The judge didn't buy it. Craig got 6 months in county jail. But more importantly, the court ordered a full review of Gerald's household for further harassment, or criminal behavior. Before Craig went to jail, Gerald tried one more stunt. He filed a lawsuit against me for defamation and harassment. Claimed I'd ruined his reputation and caused emotional distress. It was desperate. His lawyer barely looked at me when we went to court. I had stacks of records. Police reports. City fines. Video footage. Witness statements. Even the HOA's own financial documents showing Gerald's theft. The judge threw it out in less than 10 minutes. But the attempt told me something important. Gerald wasn't just trying to save face anymore. He was trying to drag me down with him. After the failed lawsuit, Gerald stopped coming outside. His perfect lawn went brown. His flags disappeared. But inside that house, something was brewing. I heard from Paula that Gerald was telling neighbors I was the dangerous one. That I was poisoning the neighborhood. Some believed him. Older folks who had known him for years. They started crossing the street when they saw me walking Tyson. One neighbor even yelled at me to stop causing trouble. I tried to ignore it. I told myself the courts would finish the job. But the stress was eating me alive. I wasn't sleeping. My job performance dropped. I snapped at friends and family who tried to help. One night, I caught myself staring at the window with a baseball bat in my hand, just waiting for someone to come mess with my property again. That's when I realized something. He was dragging me down to his level. One rainy evening, I got a call from the city attorney's office. Mr. Clayton's plea deal fell through, the lawyer said. His criminal case is moving forward. You may be asked to testify. Finally. But 2 days later, I came home from work and saw Paula standing in my driveway. She looked pale. Craig's out, she said. Early release. He's back at Gerald's. That night, my new security camera, hidden inside a garden gnome, caught Craig sneaking into my backyard. But this time, he wasn't alone. Gerald was with him. They had gas cans. They poured gasoline around my detached garage. Tyson barked like mad from inside the house. I was already calling 911. My voice shook as I gave my address. As the dispatcher talked, I saw Craig strike a match. He tossed it. Whoosh. The garage lit up like a torch. But they didn't expect one thing. The garden gnome cam streamed straight to my phone. I had clear video of both their faces. The fire department came fast. The garage was lost, but the house was saved. Tyson and I were safe. Police arrested Gerald and Craig at 4 a.m. Craig tried to run. Didn't make it past the backyard. Gerald was silent as they handcuffed him. Not angry. Not pleading. Just empty. Like he knew this was the end. At the trial, the judge saw the full video. Heard about the history, illegal reports, the poisoned water, the rock through my window, the slashed tires, the embezzlement, the harassment, the fire. Craig got 8 years for arson and violating probation. Gerald got 15 years. Elderly or not, the judge said he was a manipulator who used others to enforce his will, and called him a threat to public safety. After the sentencing, I thought it was over. But I didn't stop. I kept showing neighbors the video. Kept sharing court records. Kept digging up every rotten thing Gerald had done. I wanted everyone to know. To never forget. But I went too far. Some neighbors, ones who hadn't picked a side, filed harassment claims against me. Said I was creating a hostile environment. One even filed a restraining order. The same city attorney who'd helped me before now warned me. You won. But if you keep this up, you'll become what he was. That hit hard. Gerald's house was seized to pay fines and damages. A young family bought it. I repaired my garage. Replaced my car. Tyson is healthy. I still live here. Most neighbors either avoid me or nod politely. Paula and a few others stay friendly. But the neighborhood feels scarred. I won the war. But I also learned this: if you spend too long fighting monsters, you risk becoming one yourself. I nearly crossed that line. Never again.